I'm down in Mexico City in a big, gigantic civic center preaching. And I'm standing here at a place like this, and it's just packed full of Hispanic people. And I'm up there preaching, and God's calling for ministry. And so here comes a man, and he's a Spanish man, and he's got a beautiful baby daughter in his arms. She's just a gorgeous little sparkling black hair and pretty black eyes. And so he comes up, and I don't speak Spanish, he don't speak English, but he's pleading with me. And the little girl, he's got her on his arm like this, and she turns her face like this, and on this side she don't even have a face. She was born without that. You could see. You can see it inside her, the saliva and the tongue and all of this. Gorgeous on one side and horribly deformed on the other side. I said, oh God, what do you want me to do? And he said, I want you to take your thumb. I want you to stick it in the hole in her face and move your thumb. So help me God. I stuck my thumb in the hole in her face and moved my thumb like that, and God grew her face. You want to hear another one? I'm in Tyler, Texas again. And the Lord said to me, won't you go to London? He didn't say, I want you to go. He said, go to London. I said to him, why? He said to me, because you're told to. So I bought me a ticket from Dallas, Texas to London. Some hotel in London. I got my hands on each side of the arms like that. I wish I could tell you I was praying in tongues. I wasn't. I'd made up my mind, I'm going to glare across this room. I'm just going to sit here to see what will happen. I don't know how long I sat there. I sat there quite a while. And then something happened. I'll tell you what happened. Shoom! The wooden wall parted just like this. Now there's a gate and an entrance. Out of that gate and entrance, walked into my room, and they stood in front of me. I won't say they saluted me, but they acknowledged me. They come and stand in front of that chair, and the last one came through was Jesus Christ. He said to me, you're here because they're there. It was a great cloud of witnesses. Walked through my hotel room in London, England. I'm going up a hill from out in the mountains from one of those church sites. My wife, the car was parked here, and I'm told to go around this way. She said, I'm going to go this way, it's shorter. I said, okay, but I'm walking the other way. And here comes a turtle walking down the trail, 12 o'clock at noon. And he's walking down the trail on this mountain in Turkey. And he's about this big around. Not quite as big around as a garbage can lid, about that tall. And he's walking like this down the trail. The Lord said, you see that turtle? I said, yes. He said, I want you to pick up that turtle, and there's an ancient spirit living in it. And I want you to cast it out. All right! So I picked up this turtle. I got him eyeball to eyeball, head about that big around. And so I said, I take authority over any ancient spirit in here. So help me God, an airplane taking off the runway couldn't roar any louder than this turtle. There was a herd of goats up on the top of the mountain. It scared them so bad, they ran down, jumped in the house, stuck their head out the windows. But this turtle roared, and finally quit roaring. God said, okay. I set him down. He went one way, I went the other. I released a thing that happened to me when I was traveling in the spirit realm. I found myself in Tibet, laying down on a rock, and a shadow went across me, opened my eyes. There's a guy that's 300 years old looking at me, talking to me. What? And he told me about a guy 400 years older than him, 3 and 4 is 700 years. Now, here's something that boggled my mind. They brought a man to me that had brain cancer.
Yeah.
That's what they said.
Yeah.
They showed me the x-rays. They had the doctor's reports, and they brought him there to the ministry we were doing. And so they wanted me to pray for him. So I said, okay. So I stand up there and I lift my hand up just like this to touch him. I'm about this far from him. And the Lord said to me, what are you doing? I said, I'm praying for this man that has cancer. And the Lord said to me, who's told you he has cancer? I said, his family and this doctor's report.
Wow.
And here's what the Lord said. He said, he does not have cancer, but if you pray for him, he'll get it.
Wow, Bobby.
Now listen to me now. We better watch out.
That's right.
He said he does not have cancer, but if you pray for him, he'll get it. I said, okay, what does he have? And here's what the Lord said. He says he has a mineral deficiency in his body, and there's an infection in the back of his brain stem. He said, tell him to go home and start eating massive amounts of a certain kind of cereal, and it'll replenish the mineral there, and everything will be all right.
Wow.
So that's what I told him. His family got fighting mad. I mean, absolutely spitting mad because I wouldn't pray for him. But this guy believed me, and he goes home, starts eating massive amounts, and was totally healed. I'm typing, and I'm hearing the wind in the trees. And over here on my porch I think is 12 to 18 feet off the ground. And so anyway, I had wind chimes. And these wind chimes were blowing and making this wonderful melodious sound. And I'm working on a book, just having a time. And then all of a sudden, I realized I didn't hear the wind chimes anymore. I looked at the trees, they're still dancing in the breeze. And I wheeled my eyes over there at my wind chimes, and standing in the air with my wind chimes in his hand is an angel. He's holding my wind chimes just like this. He's 12, 15 feet off the ground, holding my wind chimes to keep them from making a sound. He looked at me in my chair and my computer like, I got your attention? And then he let them go, and so help me God, the wind chimes began to play the song, all hail the power of Jesus' name, let angels prostrate fall, bring forth the royal diadem, and crown him Lord of all. I've seen demons a lot, principalities a lot. I've only, out of 49 years, I've only seen Satan twice. He came up to me, and here's what he said about this book right here. He said to me, I will give you all of these. And he did his hand like in a panoramic thing like that. Showed me all the wicked kingdoms of this world. Said, I'll give you these if you'll get away from this message of sonship. That's when I knew we had him. That's when I was determined we're going to share the message of sonship with the body of Christ on a level we've not seen before. I'm telling you guys, that's what happened. And so I did exactly what Jesus said. I rebuked him, and he left. In Matthew 4, remember when the devil came to Jesus? I'll give you all of these. And he says, be gone. And he was gone. I was in a Coliseum with Bob Jones preaching, and Bob was sitting here on the front, and I was supposed to be preaching, but I got to feeling athletic. And so I ran and jumped on the chair. I jumped right here on this part of the chair, and I was still stable, so I jumped on this part. Whoa. And I'm still stable as Dorothy Hamill. What's that little Baez girl that can do all them flips? I was as stable as she was. So I thought, I'll jump here. And I jumped right here and stable. I jumped 18 rows on landing on these things right here. 18 rows out across this Coliseum. Isn't that crazy? That is supernatural. Yes. You think you can do it? Give it a hop. Yeah, it absolutely happened. I levitated out in Argentina. I was in a basketball arena preaching, and I told Rick Joyner, I said, I'm going to be 12 or 15 feet in the air, standing on nothing, prophesying to people. It would have probably happened then, but it scared me. I was up there in the basketball arena, and I was preaching, had my hands on the pulpit like this. I was preaching about glory. And all of a sudden, I felt absolutely weightless. And I was up about this high. And we've had crazy things happen at the book table. God grew a guy a finger at the book table. He had cut it. He comes up and he's got a big old bandage there, just all wrapped around his hand. I said, I asked him, what happened to you? And he must have thought, I asked him what he did. He said, well, I'm a carpenter, but apparently not a very good one. I cut my finger off. And I was joking. I said, God's got original parts. And all of a sudden, he started shaking his hand like this. He's got a big ball of stuff around it. And he's shaking his hand. And his wife was a nurse. And here's what happened. She thought, oh, man, I must have wound it too tight. So they unwind it, and there's a brand new finger. Wow. Isn't that crazy? I had pictures of it on my phone. I got pictures of stuff on the phone, man. I was preaching once. I was preaching about the fire of God in Alabama. Woof! It started shooting out of my mouth. They took pictures of it. Isn't that something? I'm over there in Yuba City, and I was talking about the purity of God. And here comes a white cloud and turned me solid white. And there's pictures of all this. I'm over there in Ogden, Utah, preaching about the glory, and started shining. I mean, just shining. I want a God you can see, don't you? Psalms 90 verse 16 and 17 says, oh Lord, let your works appear. Yes. We want to see what he does. Let your works appear. Don't you ever get to where you think, well, I've seen it all now. No, you hadn't. We barely have seen anything.